On November 5th, 240, the army advanced towards the fortress to rescue the survivors of the alien attack, but they failed disastrously. The number of lives lost greatly exceeded the number of survivors. 40 years later, the moon had become the refuge for the inhabitants of Earth. There they established a secret base called the Mining District, led by the president, who had in mind to send a group on a mission to rescue the survivors and regain control of the planet. 3 soldiers with impressive backgrounds were selected as the heroes of the moon: Robin, Jared, and Damon. Robin and Jared were easily contacted, but Damon was completely nowhere to be found, lost in a bar in the lower level of the moon. Jared complained about having to go down there just to look for one man, but even so, he went to the bar to locate him. Once reunited, the 3 soldiers were taken to the research center, where the doctor in charge explained the reason for their summons. The mission seems simple: return to Earth, save the survivors, and enlist the help of the human resistance to defeat the Sentinel and reclaim the planet. Robin was not very convinced at first, since in a simulation, they had seen that everyone died. However, Jared, with his gift of persuasion, managed to convince her that they must do it for the good of Earth. Finally, Robin agreed to join the mission, and Jay introduced them to the Bebop suit, a biologically enhanced body protection system. Tyon, with evident pride, explained how it worked. The Bebop suit, when activated by its wearer, could offer protection against bullets, small lasers, chemicals, radiation, and much more. Robin, Jared, and Damon boarded the spaceship and took off for Earth. Meanwhile, the president gave a speech about the mission, full of false sincerity, talking about the need to regain the freedom that the Sentinel had taken from them. The inhabitants of the mining district applauded excitedly, full of hope in the success of the 3 chosen heroes. However, after the announcement, the president revealed his true personality, complaining about not wanting to strive only to share his success with others. Meanwhile, on the ship, Robin, Jared, and Damon were relaxed, listening to music as they approached Earth. Suddenly, a loud beep interrupted the calm. Robin and Damon noticed something suspicious about Jared, who was trying to keep them calm. Finally, Jared confessed the true plan. He admitted that Robin was right in saying that they should not follow the plan based on what happened on Earth on November 5th, 240, as it clearly would not work. The Sentinel was far more powerful than they imagined, and they couldn't just arrive on Earth and confront it without a detailed strategy. Otherwise, they risked repeating the tragedy. So, the doctor had devised another plan without informing Robin and Damon. This new plan consisted of taking advantage of gravity to bend time and basically travel to the past, which, according to the doctor, would significantly increase their chances of defeating the Sentinel. Jared, confidently, injected himself with a neutron neutralizer in the neck to avoid being crushed during time travel. Robin and Damon, on the other hand, were furious to discover that they knew nothing about the true plan. At first, they flatly refused to accept the neutron neutralizers that Jared offered them, but eventually gave in for fear of risking their lives. Once ready, they put on their helmets and entered a portal, traveling at a speed much greater than that of a bullet. Everything quickly began to get complicated when Robin tried to activate the Bebop suit's shield, but it didn't work. As if that wasn't enough, the ship also didn't have landing gear. Moments later, Jay and the doctor lost all contact with Robin, Jared, and Damon. With his soul in suspense, Jay explained that, without the operational shield, the ship had deviated from its trajectory and ended up crashing 20 miles from the fortress, right in the middle of an electrical storm. To make matters worse, the vital signs of the 3 disappeared, leaving open the possibility that something catastrophic had happened. Or perhaps something unexpected. Jay, full of uncertainty, could not determine if the team had survived. For his part, the doctor was convinced that someone had sabotaged the mission, but he still held out hope that Robin, Jared, and Damon had managed to complete the jump through time and space. Afterwards, the president issued an announcement about the tragic events that had occurred to the 3 chosen soldiers. The doctor, furious, declared that the announcement was pre-recorded and that the president had planned everything to sabotage the mission. Shortly after, they sent a security group to the research center to arrest Jay and the doctor. However, they were already aware of what was happening. They put on their spacesuits, broke a reinforced glass window, and launched themselves outside, leaving the guards behind. Meanwhile, the time travel was a success, just as the Doctor had anticipated. However, Robin, Jared, and Damon lost their spaceship during the process, causing them to land in 3 different locations. Jared ended up inside the walls of the fortress, while Damon fell outside. Damon noticed that the portal was still open, but had no idea at what exact time he had landed. For a brief period, the 3 lost contact with each other, although they soon managed to communicate again. Jared informed Damon and Robin of his location, but only Damon responded. The latter managed to enter the fortress and left a D marked on the wall as a sign of his presence. Robin, meanwhile, landed in a desolate city, and upon inspecting an abandoned car, found a corpse inside. When she touched the body with her weapon, the supposed corpse grabbed the other end of the weapon. It was a zombie. The infected quickly got up and attacked Robin, who tried to shoot him with her pistol while struggling to retrieve her rifle. Jared, on the other hand, had found a figure at the end of a hallway. As he got closer, he realized that it was a woman, but she was no longer fully human. The creature opened its mouth grotesquely and let out a terrifying shriek, attracting a horde of zombies. Jared, worried, informed Damon about what had happened and warned him that if there were zombies in the area, the Sentinel might be awake. And he was right. The Sentinel had activated upon sensing his presence and went after Jared, who was closest. Now imagine this. Jared, who had managed to escape the zombies, was prowling in the darkness when he sensed a presence nearby. He quickly turned off his flashlight to avoid being detected. However, upon turning around, he realized something terrifying. The Sentinel was right behind him. The Sentinel punched him in the face, and Jared, with no other choice, ran away. During his escape, he received another blow that almost knocked him down. Knowing that he had no chance of facing that machine, he decided to hide. In the midst of his despair, an unknown woman appeared and gestured for him to be quiet. Without saying a word, she led him to a safer place. Meanwhile, Jay and the Doctor were taking refuge in a bar, trying to escape the President's men. The Doctor, frustrated, was trying to find out what had happened to Robin, Jared, and Damon, but with the limited resources he had, he couldn't get any answers. That's when Jay came up with an idea. Out loud, he blurted out to everyone present in the bar that the President had sabotaged the mission, further revealing that the shuttle was still operational and that the 3 chosen soldiers were probably still alive. The news caused a stir among those present. On the other hand, Jared was led to a room inside the fortress where the human resistance was hiding. This group had been in hiding, looking for a way to rescue other survivors captured by the Sentinels. Lyland, the leader of the resistance, immediately noticed that Jared was not one of them. With a mixture of curiosity and distrust, he interrogated him to find out where he came from and how he had reached the fortress. When Jared explained that he came from the mining district on the moon, the reactions were unexpected. First, Lyland and the others laughed, thinking it was an absurd joke. However, when they realized that Jared was serious, their attitude changed. Everyone was on guard, ready to attack him if he made any suspicious move. Meanwhile, Robin had found a bicycle and was heading to the fortress, struggling to breathe properly as she was not used to Earth's gravity. Unable to communicate with Damon and Jared due to the lack of signal, she decided to enter the fortress. Damon, meanwhile, was still searching for Jared inside the place, marking the walls as he went. Suddenly, he saw the Sentinel at the end of the hallway and, without thinking twice, quickly turned around to avoid it. Meanwhile, the human resistance continued their search for survivors, with Jared among them. They found some glass boxes with humans inside, and Lyland quickly ordered his team to free them. Jared had no idea what those boxes were, but a member of the resistance explained to him that they were infectious capsules where the Sentinel kept the captured humans. Among the captives were Lyland's wife and baby. Taking advantage of the fact that the Sentinel was not near, they moved quickly to free them. Jared learned that the Sentinel captured humans to infect them and turn them into its army. Just as they were about to free the captives, the Sentinel returned to its lair, lowering one of the capsules. The lair was filled with the Sentinel's virus, and the humans inside the capsules began to cough violently as they inhaled the virus. A member of the resistance helped Jared fix his signal, allowing the Doctor to detect him again. The engineer had turned on the abandoned transmitter, and the hacker used all the data received to connect to the monitors and locate the 3 soldiers. They discovered with surprise that the 3 had landed in different timelines. Jared and Damon arrived on the same day, September 18th, but in different years. Jared in 240 and Damon in 260, while Robin was the only one recording in real time. Back at the fortress, a horde of zombies broke in, and Jared, along with the human resistance, fired until there were none left. They managed to open one of the capsules and began to evacuate the survivors. However, the Sentinel appeared with its army. The member of the resistance who had helped Jared volunteered to stay behind to slow down the Sentinel's army, sacrificing himself in the process. Damon had found Sector Delta and notified Jared and Robin. Robin replied that she was also in Sector Delta, but Damon didn't hear her because they were in different timelines. Although they were walking around the same place, they couldn't see each other. Damon sat there, realizing that their mission had been compromised from the moment they arrived on Earth. Robin, who could hear him, started to get nervous, listening to Damon talk about something terrible that had happened during the time jump. Although Damon couldn't hear her, Robin continued to respond to everything he said, while he accepted that they had already failed. Damon mentioned that he was going to miss Jared and Robin, even though he didn't know them very well. However, despite the failure, Damon was determined to move forward with the mission. Robin thought the same, believing that giving up was not an option. In the darkness, the Sentinel appeared in front of the human resistance, and everything that happened on November 5th, 240, was repeating itself. Jared approached the Sentinel through the eyes of the zombie, and it saw him, quickly diverting its attention towards him. Unlike the original 240, where Leland and his wife died trying to stop the Sentinel to protect their son, this time there was no Sentinel following them. Thanks to Jared's distraction, the couple was able to escape with their baby. Now only Jared and the Sentinel remained. While Jared waited for the Sentinel, Robin set traps in Sector Delta, Area 19, and Damon listened to music while he waited. The hacker managed to connect the doctor directly with Robin, and she was happy to hear the doctor's voice. The doctor explained what was really going on and reminded Robin that even though they were in different timelines, they were still fighting the same battle. Then, the doctor told Robin that the Sentinel used electricity, so she could neutralize it with an EMP for a short time, giving her the time necessary to execute her next move. At that moment, the connection was lost again. The President's soldiers found the engineer who was working on the transmitter, trying to reconnect with the 3 soldiers on the ground. The doctor advised them to retreat because the President's army would surely go to the nearby bar to arrest them, but no one wanted to leave them to fight alone. Without a connection, they only had the downloaded recording saved in the cloud to continue listening to what was happening with Jared, Damon, and Robin. The Sentinel arrived in Sector Delta, Area 19, in Robin's timeline, and her traps were activated. Jared and Damon used their own weapons against the Sentinel. At first, the Sentinel resisted all damage, but then it counterattacked, and all 3 easily fell before its sharp hands. The Sentinel stabbed Jared and lifted him, but Jared had anticipated this move. He had placed a bomb in his own pants that exploded when the Sentinel lifted him, killing it and destroying its weapon. With the Sentinel's weapon destroyed, Damon and Robin could fight better than last time. Damon's weapon was finally working against the Sentinel, but with a single attack, Damon lost Jay, and the doctor lost all data on Jared and Damon, leaving only Robin, who was already on the ground. Before the Sentinel could finish her off, a stranger appeared and started shooting at the Sentinel, forcing it to flee. However, the Sentinel left Earth and headed for the moon. With their advanced weapons and the Sentinel already weakened, they managed to kill it. The President panicked upon learning that the Sentinel had been destroyed and decided to give a speech to present himself as the hero, unaware that his corruption had already been revealed. Meanwhile, it turned out that the man who saved Robin was an older version of Damon. Robin wondered if they could go back in time and save Jared. Damon agreed and joked about going back to when he was younger. The two laughed, unaware that the Sentinel was still alive.